Good evening, it is good to see you. I hope that you are all having an awesome week and you are all out enjoying the sun and getting tanned. I got a little sunburnt and tanned in the last week, so it's been really good that the weather's warming up and we're enjoying that. Before we get started tonight, I have a really exciting announcement for you all. Get ready, drum roll please. We are going to begin meeting, not tomorrow, we are going to begin meeting next week in person. So this is how it's going to look like. Junior hires on Wednesday, you will be meeting at 6:30. The boys and the girls in separate groups, in groups smaller than 10. And senior high, you're going to be meeting in Sunday at 6:30, starting not this Sunday, the next Sunday. So I am so excited for you guys to be able to start meeting in person, to be with you and to laugh with you and to fellowship and just to be able to grow closer to each other and grow closer to God. It is going to be so awesome. I'm so excited. Next Wednesday, we're going to be meeting in person. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. So as we get ready for today, I want to give you guys a quick thing here. 30 seconds. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I want you to grab a notepad or a piece of paper and a writing utensil because you're going to need those in a second. And if you need to grab some drink or snack or something like that, you do that because we're going to get going right into our message today. I'm so excited for it. It's going to be a really great message. So you guys got 30 seconds to grab yourself a writing utensil, a paper, and a snack and a drink if you need it. So here we go. All right, welcome back. I hope you got your pen and paper and your snack and your drink if you need that. If you've been paying attention, this last Monday, we put something out on our story on Facebook and Instagram, and we asked a question. What was a superhero's main job? What is the main job of a superhero? And you guys gave us a lot of different answers. Some of you guys talked about how it's their job to protect the city, or it's their job to give up their life and to give up their place to sacrifice so that other people can be safe. Some of you said something along the lines about being awesome and having superpowers. I don't know, maybe it's fighting dazzling, weirdly dressed supervillains. Maybe it's modeling the latest fashion in latex. I don't know, but we can all agree, and this was a lot of you answered along the same line and basically had this truth in some way in your answer, but we can all agree that a superhero's job is to help people. A superhero's job is to help people. So last week we started our series on origin story. We're talking about your origin story and what it means to be a hero, and we're talking about heroes fighting justice. Superheroes are known for fighting justice and for helping people, and they usually do it with big flashy superhero powers and these cool things. But I got good news for you. You don't need superpowers. You don't need to be bitten by a spider or have a cape or be dipped in some radioactive goo. You can be heroic and you can help people today. You don't need superpowers or a cape in order to do that. In fact, you should watch this video as an example.
First of all, I met Mark about a year ago, and it's funny because he was behind our center actually digging in the dumpster. He was looking for something to eat. He was experiencing homelessness and he was depressed. And instead of calling the police or kicking him off the property, one thing that our organization likes to do is befriend people. We like to get to know people, know their stories, and know how they arrive in the place that they are right now. And so I befriended them. I basically built a relationship. I explained who I was, and I kind of told them, if you're willing, our organization would be willing to walk with you. And over the course of us getting to know each other, I learned that he didn't have an ID, he didn't have any birth certificate, or he didn't have a social security card. He literally had absolutely nothing, and he was living from abandoned house to abandoned house. And I talked to our staff and some of our board, and we all decided we had to do something. And so we started to walk with Mark, and long story short, this process of trying to, hunt down his, how do we get a birth certificate? How do we get his social security card? And we went through this whole process, and it was about a 6 to 8 month process just to even get his birth certificate. Because when you're experiencing homelessness, you need an ID to get other ID. Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here. Right now, I'm standing in the Love Beyond Walls headquarters, and man, this piece of information came here. It's Mark's social security card, which gives him both his birth certificate and his social security card, so he'll be able to get his identification, his real ID this week. And I'm about to surprise him and show him.
Mark, you are on the video! What's up, man?
What's up, everybody?
You're on the video, bro. Guess what, man?
What?
Your social security card came.
Finally! Yes, sir!
The first thing I asked him are, what are your top 3 goals? And some of his goals was like, get an ID and, get back in touch with his children and get a job so he can become self-sufficient. And, handouts are cool for our organization. We get a chance to engage a lot of people that way, but ultimately, we're in this to see lives transform. Like, how do you go from, living in an abandoned house to having your own place to stay? That's the type of transformative work that we're engaged in. And so I made him that promise. I said, man, if you give your all, I'm gonna give my all. And he did. And he endured the process. There was a lot of ups and downs. And then we finally got to a point where we got his ID. And I told him, I said, man, if I have to stand on a corner with a hire Mark sign on until you get hired, I'm gonna do that. And he thought I was playing at first, but I was dead serious. Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here, man. We just completed day 1 of the Hire Mark campaign. We're gonna go out every single day, old school. Hey, what's up, guys? Today was a huge success. We were able to get Mark's resume into the hands of at least 10 people, and a few people have sent emails out saying they want to see his resume as well, so we're gonna forward those. Hey, what's up, guys? We're walking downtown. Got my brother Mark with me. Have the Hire Mark sign on. Man, somebody saw the sign. What happened, Mark?
They saw the sign and asked me if I was looking for work, and I shared with them, yes, I am, and they asked me for a resume, passed them my resume, and then she's gonna pass on my resume to the contacts in her office.
It's day 4 of Hire Mark, and I'm on the way to the Love Beyond Walls headquarters to pick up Mark. And we're gonna go stand around the city more with the Hire Mark sign on. We're downtown, and Mark is over there talking to a guy that saw the sign, and he stopped and he's just encouraging Mark and basically letting them know that many people who live in this country are only 1 paycheck away from experiencing the same thing that he's experienced. Man, out here in the heart of the city with my brother Mark.
What's up, everybody?
Man, got on a new suit. The brother is clean. Yeah, Mark, you got your new interview today, man. Your second interview. It's gonna go well. We're all hoping. You excited?
Yes, extremely excited.
Extremely excited.
Shout out to everything that Love Beyond Walls has done for me.
Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here from Love Beyond Walls. Man, today is day number 5 for our campaign, Hire Mark, where we are actually attempting to get my brother and friend a job. And man, Little did I know I would have my friend Eldridge reach out.
What's up, people? This is Eldridge. First of all, I want to do a big shout out to D&K. We're in front of D&K Suit City, right here by Greenbrier Mall. I was sitting at home on Instagram, and I seen the campaign. It was just like, hire Mark. And I'm like, bruh, let's do it.
The funnest interview was this interview with D&K Suit City. Because, you know, the day before he had the interview with this company, they actually allowed him to go into the store and pick out 2 suits. They heard about the store and they were like, you know, what better way to furnish somebody than to furnish them with some clean suits to just go into the interviews and be sharp.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good news. What's up, Sam?
How you doing, man?
What's up?
Yeah, hey, man, what's up?
What's up, Eldridge?
Yo.
Welcome to the newest team member of D&K Fashions, Suit City and Greenbrier Mall location, the best suit store on the planet.
Come support him.
Yeah, this brother just got hired, man. Celebrate.
One of the things that the Hire Mark sign did was it brought attention to his story, which was what we were wanting it to do. We wanted people to ask, what does Hire Mark mean? During this campaign of just wearing a sign and walking with my brother, man, we were able to raise enough funds to get him his own space.
Hey, what's up, man? Terrence here with my boy Mark. Mark, what's going on today?
What's up, everybody? Just moving in today, y'all. Temporary place to stay until I get something more permanent. Appreciate everyone's support.
So now he has his own rooming space and he's working and he's no longer staying in abandoned houses. And it's campaigns like that that not only bring attention to issues that we should all care about 365 days of the year, but it gives people an opportunity to say, how can I leverage my talents, my gifts, my networks, whatever I have, whatever resource I have to bring restoration to a man's life that has been broken down.
Terrence and his team at Love Beyond Walls didn't have any fancy superhero powers, but they were heroic and they did help somebody. So I want to take some time here and I want to help you guys kind of process this and to dig through it and reflect on it a little bit more. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes here. You will see some questions appear on the screen. Grab your piece of paper or your notebook and your pen. I want you guys really quickly to just, as the question comes up, kind of write out your initial thoughts or your gut reaction to the question and just kind of like think about it and reflect on it a little bit. So you're gonna have 5 minutes here, answer the questions as they come up on the screen. often when we see stories like this, we are often moved and it stirs something inside of us. And you see, Terrence didn't save the entire world. He didn't stop like a death ray from going off or something, but he did make a dramatic difference in someone's life. You see, Jesus actually did save the entire world, but he also did something great on every day. He did something, he showed heroic love in the small moments with his people, with his disciples. And if we look into the scripture here, we're going to be turning to John 13 here in a second. If we look at this passage, we can see this conversation that Jesus had with his disciples the night before he was sentenced to death. It was just before the Passover feast. Jesus knew that the time had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he now showed them the full extent of his love. The evening meal was being served, and the devil had already prompted Judas Iscariot, son of Simon, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from his meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his feet. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." "No," said Peter, "you shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no part of me." "Then, Lord," Simon Peter replied, "not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus answered, "A person who has had a bath needs only to wash his feet. His whole body is clean, and you are clean, though not every one of you." For he knew who was going to betray him, and that was why he said not everyone was clean. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. "Do you understand what I have done for you?" he asked them. "You called me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet. You also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. I tell you the truth, no servant is greater than his master, nor a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." This story is revolutionary for two reasons. The first reason is that the feet of the disciples were dirty. In fact, back in Bible times, they just wore open-toed sandals everywhere. And so they stepped in everything. They had dirt, they had grime, they had animal droppings on their feet. Like, their feet were nasty. And so it was not like a fun job to do it. And the second reason why this is also super revolutionary is because Jesus wasn't just a friend doing something nice for his other friends. This was a job that you would give to a servant, and not just any servant. It was a job you would give to the servant that you don't like, that you wanted to punish. And Jesus was their Lord, was their teacher. He was their respected and honored rabbi. And so he was the most important person, and he was kneeling down doing the lowest job, showing love to his disciples. But washing his disciples' feet was Jesus' way of showing his heroic love, serving them and teaching them, and he showed them something very important. Even before Jesus did the greatest heroic love of all by dying on the cross, he still modeled love in the little everyday instances that were right in front of him, like washing his disciples' feet. See, that same night, Jesus also had a different conversation with his disciples. "A new command I give you. Love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." Jesus spoke these words knowing exactly what was about to happen to him. He was going to be tortured, he was going to be arrested, he was going to be humiliated, and he was going to be wrongfully murdered. But he was going all out. He was going all in to show love, so an extraordinary love, to some really ordinary people. You see, for Jesus, his words weren't just empty. He backed up. He didn't just talk the talk, but he walked the walk. He didn't just say what he was going to say and then didn't follow through with it. He followed through his words, his teachings. He followed through them with action. And you see, you may not need to lay your life down in order to save the world or save someone's world, but you can still be heroic and you can still show an extraordinary love by helping the people right in front of you. See, I think of a moment back last year in Chicago. If you know my history, I've grown up in the church, and sometimes we haven't had all of the finances. Our pastor family didn't have all the finances to do fun things. But God was always there, and God always provided for us, whether that was a meal or an opportunity to do something fun for the family or something else. God has always provided for me, sometimes in miraculous ways. And because of God showing his love for me in that way, I am able to model that love to someone else. So last year in Chicago, it was our last day of Chicago. We were kind of having our last meal. We were at McDonald's in downtown Chicago. We get in, and I notice a homeless guy by the side of the road, and he had a psychiatric ward, a little hospital bracelet on him too. And so I'm like, that's interesting. And then I feel a tug on my heartstring. I feel like the Holy Spirit touched me and says, you need to buy him a meal. And I'm like, what? Why do I really need to? And he's like, yes, you need to buy him a meal. It's like, okay. And so we order, and I order my meal, and then I order a second meal. And so what happens is I get the 2 meals, I put mine down, and then I go outside, and I just give this man a meal. It wasn't a big thing. It wasn't a super heroic thing. I just bought the dude some McDonald's. But I gave him this meal, and I sat and I listened to his story, and I was able to speak life into him, and I was able to model some of this extraordinary love that God showed to me. I was able to in turn show to him. See, God's decision to love me sacrificially causes me and reminds me to do the same for others, especially the people that are right in front of me. But the love we're talking about isn't just buying someone a nice gift, or isn't just doing something that's just like, haha, that's okay. It goes something deeper. It's not about doing something that's like, it's not doing something so that you get something in return. Even if the something is just more recognition among your friends or more likes on social media, doing something for this love that we're talking about, it's sacrificial. It costs you without getting anything back in return. See, Jesus didn't care for people so that he would have more people follow him. He didn't love people just so that he could look good. He loved people because he just wanted to love them. And sometimes he did it in secret, and sometimes he did it so that no one else knew about it. And he just loved people, and he got nothing back in return. See, Jesus didn't hold back when he loved for people, and he didn't hold back until he had like a crowd around him or some friend to witness him or take a picture of them. He loved unconditionally everywhere he was at and loved the people that were right in front of him. In the same way that Jesus heroically modeled love for us in the Bible, it reminds us to do the same, because heroes care for people right in front of them. Heroes care for the people right in front of them. So what now? We just talked about how God models before us an extraordinary love on the large scale of saving the entire world and the small scale of just washing each other's feet. So what about it? What does God want us to do about it now? Well, I want to talk to you guys about some real practical examples about what we can do about that. You see, we all have ordinary opportunities and ordinary places in front of us that we all go through on our day-to-day lives. But these ordinary places are actually filled with extraordinary opportunities to show God's love. You see, Jesus once asked his disciples, do you have eyes to see? Do you have ears to hear? And when we overlook the opportunities that we just need to be more aware of, when we overlook these opportunities in front of us, I kind of wonder if Jesus asks us the same question. So here's a few ways that you can see more clearly and be aware of
of extraordinary opportunities to show some awesome love. The first one is maybe smile at someone who's like alone. Don't be creepy about it. Don't be that one person that's like, hi, how you doing? Just smile, be genuine. Maybe ask them how they're doing and genuinely listen. Surprise someone by asking how their day is and actually like listen to the response, not just be like, that's cool, bye. Genuinely listen to them. How's your day going? Do you really mean that? Oh, that stinks. Tell me about it. Genuinely just being interested. Give someone something they need, like your coat or gloves on a cold day, or maybe a meal or something like that. If you see a need, meet the need. Pay attention to others, how others are feeling, and don't just ask the question without the actual intention of actually responding to that and saying, hey, how are you doing? I honestly care about you. What's life like? Do you want to talk about something? I'm here for you. Just generally meeting the people in front of you. Maybe it's opening a door for someone and saying, hey, have a nice day. Just being genuine and just showing love in the everyday opportunities in our life. That's what Christ modeled before us. If you want to do a better job of caring for the people in front of you, there are 4 words that I want to teach you. The first one is awareness. Like we just discussed, the first step for caring people is just becoming more aware. Just becoming more aware. Open your eyes and seeing the issues around you. When I would be in inner city Minneapolis or inner city Chicago, I would often carry with me granola bars or Cliff bars because I didn't want to hand out money to everybody because I didn't want them to go buy it on alcohol or drugs or something like that, but I wanted to meet their need, which was hunger or something to eat. So I would carry around granola or Cliff bars, and I'd be like, hey, I want you to have this. And that would be a meal for them. They would be able to eat that. That was a need I saw, and I met the need. So maybe just being more aware of seeing the need. Listening. That's our second word, listening. If we want to care for the people that are right in front of us, we must actively listen, not passively listen, not just be like, okay, yeah, whatever, and it's just in our head and out the other end, but actively listening and being intentional and dialing into the conversation and listening to the things and the responses that people have to say. The second is interpretation, and then this one's actually kind of important because I don't think people talk about this one a lot, but if we want to care for people right in front of us, we have to think about how we talk to them and how the words we use, because sometimes our words can be interpreted wrong, or they might come off in the wrong way. Like if someone's parents are like not there at this sporting game, be like, where are your parents? Don't they love you? And that could be really hurtful for someone. Instead of gently and subtly asking them, hey, are your parents here? No? How does that make, or are you okay? Like, do you want to talk about it or something like that? We just need to be careful about how we come across and how we're interpreted, because we want love, and we want God's miraculous love to come across, and not us come across as like nosy or callous or creepy or something like that. The fourth word is sensitivity. If we want to care for the people right in front of us, we must be sensitive to the experience and perspectives we don't fully understand. And we talked about this actually last Sunday. You know, right now in America, there's a lot of racial tension. There's a lot of civil unrest happening right now. And for me, as a white person, I don't get to really speak up about that as much because I don't understand. But what I do have a chance to is I have a chance to be sensitive, to listen in and learn and hear the experience and be able to just be there with them. I don't have to be this great advocate. I just have to be sensitive and understanding, and I have to be there. That's what I get to do. So those are a couple different thoughts that I want you guys to process. If you have your notebook, go ahead and write that down. Awareness, listening, interpretation, and sensitivity. Those are just 4 really practical steps for us to be able to love the people that are right in front of us.
Sometimes the most heroic things we can do are the smallest, most meaningful thing. We don't have to have these big superpowers and flashy battles in order to be heroic. We can just love the people in front of us the way Jesus did. See, heroes care for the people in front of them. So as we go out through this next week, I want you guys to be thinking of the question, how can you share love with the people in front of you? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. I cannot wait to see you next week in person. It's going to be awesome. A week from today, junior hires are going to be meeting at the church at 6:30, and then the Sunday after that, senior hires, you'll be at the church at 6:30. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. It's going to be just the most fun. I can't wait to be with you guys again. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week.